Boom, 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 boom. We got audio in front of video. We had no audio at all. We had no video at all. I want the producer in the room. Oh, we're live. Excuse me. HFR. Bob Heffernan, currently the leader in the Name That Tune at the 60s and 70s cover rock band last night, Matt. Coming up with some names of bands that I amazingly amazed myself by amazing you, because you have such a vast knowledge in music. And you know, it's hard to stump Matt Davio on music. Mistrade suspended the don't, still trying to work his way through the Twitter sphere and get some justice. Good morning, Matt.
Elon, come on, reinstate truth. Reinstate truth, buddy. Reinstate it.
And by the way, Matt, that's the other thing. What did I say that the website was?
The shadow banning one?
Shadow something? Hold on a second.
I don't know.
Shadow Bird. Shadow Bird, definitely Shadow Bird. Hold on. We're going to bring this up in a second. Shadow Birds. Whoa. No, that's not. There we go. Just to, let me share, Matt. If I'm able to share, I could share a few things right away. Share. I heard a Shadow Bird, this website. I've never seen a website like this, right? Tashin-Mayamoto.com. I have no idea of the authenticity of this, whether it's truthful or not. But when you put in me, let's say, you just come up as suspended. Let's see what happens. Check. Is Twitter shadow banning me? And they do a little spin, spin, spin. Oh, yes. Your search suggestions are banned. Your search ban, your ghost ban, reply deboosting, all in full force effect. Full force effect.
Put in Jen Psaki or POTUS.
A POTUS. Okay, yeah, I like that.
Green light.
So something's, he's getting shadow banned. All right, I don't trust the website at all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, this is POTUS shadow banning himself. Because they asked him to say
put in Hillary.
They asked him to say kleptocracy today, and he almost had an aneurysm trying to get it out of his mouth. Anyway, what I did want to share though, Matt, that I forgot to share just now. So I'm playing a Wordle game, Matt, and you can watch an ad to get a hint if you can't get it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And it's after you watch the ad, it says the first letter is O, right? Well, that's what it says every time.
Oh,
it's not really a hint. It's just
like your shadow ban site. It's useless.
It's just how many times can I get you to watch this ad because you need a hint? Oh yeah, the first letter is O. No, it's not. That's what you said last time.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, we got the elites. I forgot to bring it up. The elites and our World Economic Forum lady. You saw it yesterday. You saw it the day before. You saw it the day before that. And I have been stressing how the elites not so much trusting each other more and more, like she said in January. That was the peak. But the other thing that she said was more pertinent to today's world is the rest of us are trusting the elites less. Now here we go to the video of Emmanuel Macron in the streets in France, and you would think he's in Italy because the tomatoes are flying. And the first thing I thought is I would never waste a nice tomato that I could make gravy with.
Oh, put up the umbrella. Put up the umbrella. Because the tomatoes
umbrella,
good thing the Secret Service guys had umbrellas. Why weren't they throwing like croissants and cream puffs?
Yeah, how about a crusty French baguette? Now that would hurt. Like one that sat on the counter for 3 days. You could speedball a
3 days, 12 hours.
A baguette, and that could actually do some damage.
That could do some damage.
All right. let's move on from the clone
Soon
world.
they will not be able to walk in the streets, as we are seeing. That's happening every day. Those elites. Speaking of elites, I found this one interesting. We had an over under, as you recall, on before you go to the football. We had an over under on Alec Baldwin and the divorce. When that would come. I think we're still on the underside. I think I said right around June of this year. But you forget about this. This was the daughter that he had all the problems with. Remember Ireland and Kim Basinger, his old wife. So, Alec is suffering tremendously. Well, imagine that. He killed somebody and he's still denying it. And,
what does a frozen container ship have to do with that?
Well, I don't know. That's the next thing. But anyways, here's what I forgot this piece though. Do you think I forgot this piece? Ukraine native, the director. Weird.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I'm just saying.
All right, man, we got the NFL draft, and thanks to our friend at Pardon My Take. I love his mock draft. Let's talk about this for just a little bit. Coming in number one, the Jaguars drafting Tim Tebow, motivational coach. He can't play tight end. He can't play quarterback, but good Lord, can he ever get the motivation going? And number two, your Detroit Lions looks like they're going to take an actual lion. Now, I think that would be worthwhile. I really like my favorites of this, though, is 27, Tampa Bay drafting Julian Edelman. Please, Tom Brady out of retirement because he hates his kids. Well, it's obvious. Like, whoa, don't whoa me. Like, he obviously doesn't like spending time at home because he's going to spend another 6 months away. Anyway, that could be wrong. But the best one of all of them is 28, the arch nemesis of this Chicago Bear fan, the Green Bay Packers. They're drafting another excuse of why they lost in the playoffs again. Anyway, it starts tonight. And Penn Gaming needs nothing more than the NFL season to start again ASAP.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to wait about 5 more months. So that stock will probably be,
it's going to get down to our $18 level where we will be a buyer.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, zero hedge sharing mortgage applications down 8.3%. And this, some of this was well before, 5% before that, the full effect of much higher mortgage rates coming down the pipeline. And here's the thing about this, like they're not going to higher mortgage rates are not just this
is not a temporary thing. No.
Yeah. It's not transitory. You're not going to get a 2%, 3% rate again, maybe in our lifetime. So readjust your thinking on that, Matt. And what do we want to look at as far as
we'll continue to talk about, let's just bring up, we've talked about the major names, but let's talk about the ETFs, IYR, XHB, right? I mean, we're $8 from the all-time high here at 116 on the IYR, which is the overall real estate ETF. So that includes commercial also. So that's probably why that's the better. And then, but it's still frothy as all get up. Like now's the time to get short. You got plenty of room. And XHB, which is housing, just retail housing, has rolled over, got a head start here. And that makes sense to me. And again, they're both up big today because everything's up. The algo got turned on. We got 2 days left in the month, today, tomorrow, and they had a kick save. We're not going to be green for the month. However, when it comes to the indices, so don't get too excited, but you want to see an example, Bob, of an algo get turned on? Let me show you, because it was funny because I was talking to you at 9 a.m. this morning. I had to leave my office for a little bit, as I told you. And I was right here. I was like, Bob, you got to buy 120. You got to buy 120. We're going to 300 is what I said to you. And you couldn't do it with me. I bought and I sold at 300. And now we're at 480.
And look at that.
It literally got turned on. That is, you want to see an algo right there. Because this is not normal. There was no news. There was nothing. It was a 12 p.m. algo, thin market, right time, right place, boom. But here's what I liked about the trade. Here's the anatomy of the trade for me. I mean, here was your open. the first hour push, and we rallied right to, basically the point of control, and then pulled back to the double Gallagher point of control, which was again hang on, I drew the wrong fib here.
Look at him go, folks. Don't try this at home.
Don't try it at home. No, but here was what I was looking at. So this was the hour low, and then we had the huge rally there, and then it scared people out, went down 100 points, right? Which is a lot if you're a small trader, because so this is what they're doing. These swings are so big. But look at that, right to the 50%, between the 50 and the 61A. You can't ask for.
It was never able. Was it able to ping the short-term momentum indicator red there on that pullback? A little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but barely.
Did it or not?
No.
Yeah. But then green right again.
I just spent 20 minutes right there. And that was the buy. And I said, you got to buy right now. And you were afraid. You were fully afraid. So can you explain to us, like, what goes through your head in that moment? Like seriously, like, what's your, like, if you're
I didn't buy the NASDAQ. I bought the Russell, Matt.
Okay.
But I didn't add. Here's a perfect example of.
There's nowhere to add though on the straight. You
wait a second. There is if you just keep buying it every 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I don't.
You're still buying, by the way, just like the algo was buying every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Till I don't know when. Till that low end of value on the longer term chart. What is that? 40. Oh, that's the spider. That ain't the. Yeah, that is algo driven right there, Matt. Algo.
That is a machine. Whoever, and again, the volume wasn't even heavy, super light volume, but nobody. And this is the thing I try to avoid about. You don't fade like moves like this. This was the first hour drive. If you can't make a new low after that, it's probably going to hold. I mean, and if you look at the 2-day. This is just a little trader education, but you look at the 2-day and it was like we were ready to go up. I mean, we made a new high overnight, and I told you we were going to at least test that European high, and that's why I said buy 120, sell 300, and go flat again. I left 200 points on the table. I didn't even leave a runner today, and I was looking for 5. I was looking for 500 today. I really was, but I figured we'd get a pullback. I wasn't expecting an algo, but I was expecting to run to 500 at least today, and possibly 700. Shit, we got another hour and a half left. We got the end
of the month. Let's not forget how these things have acted recently.
And this 14.1, why wouldn't we hit this 14.1? That's where, that's a kind of a big area for this, for the NASDAQ right now. So why wouldn't we hit that tomorrow or the next day? And that's right back up into, the resistance, since we're talking about Macron.
Matt, they got a lot of work though. 13.9 is the monthly momentum level. 13.9.
Well, you give me that 14 and tomorrow, and I'll be a seller again.
All right. Well, that would be the kick save on a momentum basis on the monthly.
Would still be red though, because we closed above 15,000 last month. So regardless, we're going to be down anywhere.
I agree with that. Like, there's no kick saving the candle.
No chance. No chance.
All right, man. We have a couple other things that we want to just skim and argue about. Charlie shared this price to earnings ratios, and when you look at this, Netflix and Facebook don't look so overvalued compared to Clorox, which is a 75 PE versus Facebook at 13. Why don't we just look at those two charts, Matt? Clorox and Facebook, and see, first of all, Clorox, where you would continue to want to sell them, and Facebook, maybe where you would want to buy.
I'm going to look at daily charts.
Okay.
Because I think it's more important, because especially when you look at Facebook, it's broken. We had a reactive move off the earnings yesterday. They were fine. They weren't good. They weren't bad. They were fine. We were totally oversold yesterday into we had been going down 236 to 68. So to me, this just feels like, okay, let off the pressure on the dam. We'll squeeze all the shorts. This was the wrong time to be short now versus here. And all we are is back into, the belly of the beast. So this was the big sell-off. And so we haven't even, for me, you're going to have to get above 250 for me to get too excited about Facebook. And then you got a hole. This gap will be filled at some point, but I don't think it's soon. again, if you go along with the same thing with mortgages, I just don't think, I don't think people, I think Netflix tells a lot. I think people are burnt out on consuming all media. And I don't know about you, like, I haven't had Facebook in years. I have an account. I haven't been to it in 2014, 15. I don't go to it. I don't
Yeah,
have.
Matt, there was an Egyptian guy that had $1 million for you there that he's been messaging you.
Shoot. Anyways, so the big picture, I just don't, I don't see that macro change. And as far as Clorox, and we talked about this also. I mean, they had a huge move. Don't forget, because of COVID and all the bleaching that was going on and all the bullshit that people were, sucking about bleach. Oh, clean your house. I mean, fuck, if you're not leaving your house, what are you worried about? Like, I never understood the whole thing. This is hold on. That was Colgate I brought up. I wanted to bring up Clorox CLX, right?
Yes.
But this is the thing, Bob. This thing had it again had traded all the way up here to 245, right? So, and now it came back into balance. I mean, if you were paying attention, you had a good buy here at 124, right into balance. The bounce, it's happened. We're up to 150. Guess what? You just made 20% on Clorox. I mean, first of all, I can't believe you can make those kind of. and to your point, this is why the PE ratios they never matter until they do. And like I said to you before we came on air, PE ratios, this is what they teach in B school. Nobody, I mean, value players, et cetera, use it, but nobody else does. It's really price is the only thing that matters. PE ratios won't matter when you bottom. That's about it. When did they bottom? When a stock bottoms, then it starts going up. So,
Yeah, I mean, where was that Clorox, speaking of PE, at the top? I mean,
well, that's 2 times. It was 2x this, right? So 2x at the bottom, it was a lot higher. So if it's 74 here, just assuming all things equal, it was 150. But that's not a reason to short a stock either. But again, we talked about the parabolic moves because of all the capital that was rushed into everywhere in the world, and now that slosh is coming off. I mean, throw up that other chart that the Real Fly posted today about Ukraine and their GDP, because we had a lower GDP today, by the way, which is the first time we've had like a downward slope in the GDP, Bob. And that means our economy is already slowing. And again, this is before interest rates skyrocketed, right? So if that's before interest rates, you can imagine what's going to happen. I mean, it's just a matter of time. It is coming. But we had a slowdown in the overall GDP numbers. So just keep that in mind. These trends start slowly and then they pick up very fast, right? We're kind of in this transitional period. So just be aware that we're in a changing mode right now.
Now, one more that I wanted to share, I shared in the group yesterday, was this one, because we talked about this several months ago. CF Industries, a giant fertilizer conglomerate, they actually own the fertilizer, the mines and so forth. And Scott's Miracle-Gro, and I just want to, put a little cheerleader hat on and get my pom-poms out, because we're like, look at these charts. They couldn't be more different. They're both in the fertilizer space. But you got CF that's going to capitalize on higher fertilizer prices. And then you got Scott's Miracle-Gro. Like, who can afford to, you can't afford to fill your gas anymore. Who's going to afford the extra fertilizer for the lawn this year? Who's going to afford the extra water bill this year?
Right.
I mean, these things, when you start to pan out being squeezed, it goes all over the place. And for sure, the Scott's Miracle-Gro chart is as sick a chart as it looks like the bottom is about to fall out on it already has, but even further. Anyway, I just wanted to re-bring that up, and yours and my opinion of these things were look out on the CF side to the upside and look out to Scott's Miracle-Gro on the downside.
Well, and here's the lesson though. Like you talk about these earnings seasons, right? Everybody is so bearish. Like I just told you, I'm bearish on Facebook, but not necessarily right here, but a little higher. I would be bearish, right? I wasn't bearish at 160. I'm bearish higher. I was bearish much higher when it was 300s. So, and then once you get into the mode where, the market's moving starts trending down, which it is in Facebook, which it is in Scott's, then you have the game within the game. Like you have an earnings season where everybody was so bearish, we got to go up. It's just like everybody can't be right. So they got to take out all the people that get in at the bottom. They got to take them out, and then they'll go back down again. They will go back and test probably lower. I think there's still room to go again on Facebook, even though it has a low PE. That doesn't mean it can't, their numbers can't get worse. More subscribers go away, whatever it is. Right. So, and you see that. So the price matters because we were oversold. So you have to look at the context into the earnings. Like I always think markets tend to, they tend to go opposite of whatever the way the trend was going. If it was going way up, it's going to come up, it's going to come down. If they were going down, they're usually wrong and it's going to bounce. And that's usually, as a general rule, if you're trending one way for a long time, especially 2 earnings periods, this is like the second time. This has been going down for 6 months, Facebook. It's not new, right? This isn't the first time that it started going on. So you really have to be careful. And if you don't know how to trade around those times, then don't trade during the earnings season. You can come back in a week and then find some balance and figure out a new, look at the charts and figure out the new area of where you want to behave. I think that's really important for people to recognize. Like, I can't predict. I'm not, I never tried to predict. A lot of times in earnings, I would just play for a move, period. Right? I'd play a strangle straddle, something like that would have very low risk. I'd buy it only. I'd buy a straddle, buy a strangle, especially if they were just kind of going down or, going in one way. Then you're just looking for a move big enough to get paid either way. It doesn't matter. And directionally, it's the greatest way to play because you're expecting a big move on these earnings, especially in these names with, huge alpha.
Right on. Matt Lee asked about Owned-This Holdings. I had no idea what this does.
Who owned this? Who owned this?
Who owned this?
Where does Lee?
It's from a confused Mexican cartel.
Lee, where do you come up with these names? Stay away from
Who
these.
Owned this?
Stay
Whoever
away.
owned this, Lee, this is looking good. But any ping up into that $12 level, that double top, if you're not taking profits there, and again, for me, it's how does this play out? I particularly love. It ain't getting there this week, right? But next week, if we close here, this band should continue higher. If it makes higher highs next week, at some point, if you punch into this double top and it's punching into a collar, best place to for sure be taking profits. And I also like taking a short at that level too. Double tops into collars on standard deviation modeling is a great trade setup for booking profits. And sometimes for playing the dark side or the light side, if that market is falling apart.
Right.
So that's what I got.
Yeah. Thin to win. Don't trade it. Just stay away from names like that.
If you're in it, stay with it. That's all I'm saying. Stay with it to win it to $12. Then take your profits. Anyway. Matt does not like thin stuff. I traded Mexican peso for a bunch of years, talking about thin. And the hogs even thinner. What's here? 2-bit at 5, 4x6. I got 1,000 to move. Who's going to help me out?
Okay, I'm going to go back to this little education I was talking about. We were talking about Robinhood. Everybody's all bearish on Robinhood now. They are. They weren't bearish, when it was new. They weren't bearish up here when it was $85. You and I were, but back then Lee was long up here. And now Lee's getting short down here. I'm just trying to explain kind of the way the brain, like if you read headlines, basically, 2 days ago when Robinhood announced they're cutting 10% of the workforce, all right, they were fat. Volumes and trading are down. This happens. It's a cycle. It's also usually when they do layoffs, that is a good time to buy. Guess what? Boom. Yesterday. Layoffs today. They push a little lower and today up. Great trade again. This is the type of trade I like. So look at those headlines. Look at the way the market reacts. It had already been going down. It was already priced in. This is what happened with Facebook. It was already priced in. These bad earnings that just came out were already priced in yesterday, 169. So it goes up to 212, 215 today. Why wouldn't it? Because it's got to squeeze everybody from the last 5 days who were trying to squeeze, juice
the
out of
last
that.
nickel out of it.
The last nickel out of it. It's too late. The trade's over. Like you have to anticipate, not, the news is once the news is out, it's over. Like there's nothing else. That's why you sell Tesla, on the flip side, that's why you sell Tesla when they announce the split. goes up to 11. We talked about this, when we were on that Benzinga show 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, when Tesla was up there. We're like, okay, you got to sell it now. We went on that show. They're like, how do you feel about Tesla? And they were all like, really? You want to sell it up here at 1150? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to sell it. And today it's at 820, 30% in 2 weeks. I mean,
by the way, we'll be back on Benzinga, I think next week, to give the young lads a little dose of, I don't know what we have doses of. Doses, Lee. What do we have doses of?
Micro doses.
Micro doses.
Mushrooms again.
All right, Matt. Month end. I think I don't see why the stuff would break here between here and tomorrow's close. I think they keep dressing the book. We got some lower momentum levels in the Russell in particular. 1923. If they can close back above 1923, for sure, I think we get a runner tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if the weakest one of the bunch, which is the Russell, is healthy, I don't see how the rest of the market isn't healthy also.
Well, and again, we talked about this 2 days ago. There's a couple things going on here. We're way oversold, right? We're way oversold. And I'm going to bring up this Russell again, because it's kind of an interesting chart. We haven't looked at it in a while. Russell, we've talked about the brackets here, for the last couple of years. This lower bracket now, we were in an upper bracket. Now we're in a lower bracket. It broke actually again yesterday, but throw over didn't hold again.
Throw under, man. Throw under.
Well, I call them all throw overs, whatever. Either way, you're going over and then coming back, right? It's like the over and back in basketball, or carrying the puck in before the rest of you got offsides, exactly. So the puck has to go in before your skate does. Don't forget that. So this is a huge rally. I mean, we were down here at 1867 and we're up to 1920, up 40 points, 2%. But from the low, I mean, you're up 60, so you're up 3%. Big rally. But why couldn't we come back all the way up to 220? Again, this magnet, this powerful magnet. All these traders that are happy at this price, 2020, why wouldn't we get back to that? And then some of the break-even boys who bought it at 220 will puke. It'll put pressure. Again, you'll have more of a battle up in here. But this is kind of whooshy up in here. There's not a lot of action, right? Because we whooshed. But this is late in the move again. Doesn't mean we can't go lower, but usually they got to suck more people in. Markets just
don't. That doesn't mean that we can't ultimately set a new bracket lower there.
Correct.
For sure, the market likes to cause pain.
It causes pain when everybody gets on board the same direction. They reverse it hard. That's just what they do. And you start looking at the big picture. You're like, okay, you got to sit through it. If you're a longer trend trader, you're just like, okay, we're going to come here. I just got to wait longer again, right? Now, in every rally, I'm selling. So if you're a much larger macro time trader, which I am, this stuff doesn't worry me. I'd love to sell 2,200 again. Great. I'm already short from up there, right? So anytime it goes back there, I'll take some off, put it back on. When it gets overextended on the short-term charts, you buy some or you buy some calls. You don't have to necessarily take the position off, but you can buy calls and benefit on both sides of the trade and still stay in the position. There's a lot of ways that you can, do this and make money while you're, maybe sitting through a little pain on your core position. It's called, I call it trading around a core position. That's what real traders do. It really is, Bob. I mean, it's you're trading around core positions and whatever, 10, 20 names, and you're finding things that are moving and not, not names like owned this. Who owned this?
All right, that's what we got. That's what we got. No touchy. What else? Anything else? Shadow ban the POTUS. Turns out Twitter shadow banning everybody from that website, from Shadow Bird. Another bullshit. Something else that's bullshit that I've stumbled across in my life. Wow, there's a shock. All right, Matt, I don't know if we have anything else. If not, please join us at marketvitals.io. Please share, retweet, and plagiarize the broadcast. Elon Musk, please give us a retweet. He says he takes in most of his Twitter stuff while he's taking a number two, a deuce and a quarter. Anyway, so every time I tweet to Elon, I say on the chance that I catch him, right? And I catch him on the chance On the 1 in a million, I catch them. Hey, since you're taking a dump, how about you retweet? One of these days, I'll hit it perfect.
So if you lost your phone, don't ask Elon to use his phone. Matter of fact, shouldn't POTUS be putting a lockdown on
Dude, the video from today was just priceless. What is it? Oligarchs or no?
The Ministry of Misinformation.
Can't wait for it.
And she, by the way, is a Ukrainian. So let's put the realtor in charge of the new real estate numbers.
That's what we got. Join us, marketbuilders.io. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Lee.